This episode of the What's Happening Delco podcast is brought to you by Delco Meets for Business. Check us out on Meetup, register, and attend one of our fantastic networking meetings, which we meet on the first and third Thursday at the Brick House in Ridley Park, and the second and fourth Thursday at the Upper Crust in Newtown Square. We look forward to seeing you there. What's happening, Delco? I'm Rich Shane, and welcome to the What's Happening Delco podcast. Today, I'm joined by Peter Puglionisi, Melisa Romano, and Rebeca Yurkovich. All right, Peter, Melisa, Rebeca, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Solarize Delco. What is that?
Solarize Delco is a Delaware County-based nonprofit that advises homeowners, businesses, government agencies, and nonprofits that are interested in generating their own solar power. We're not a business, so we educate folks and help them decide what is best for themselves. So with the Office of Delaware County, Office of Sustainability, we created the first Delaware County-wide solar tour where people can visit and learn about solar power in a low-stress environment. So this is coming up between October 8th and 13th, and community stakeholders have the opportunity to learn from their neighbors, homeowners, schools, municipalities, those who have installed it themselves already. And so you could find links to the tour on solarizedelco.org or visit the Delco Sustainability website.
How many residents or businesses will people find on this tour that they'll be able to visit?
So there are a half a dozen or so residences, different days. Most, I think we have Thursday, Saturday, and Sunday. 10th, 12th, and 13th. And we have weekday tours at the Upper Darby Municipal Building and the Media Providence Friends School on the October 8th and 9th.
So Solarize Delco, how did all this, how did you get started with this?
So the volunteers on Solarize Delco, a lot of us are involved in our communities, in our municipal environmental advisory committees. And so we've helped our communities with grappling with climate action planning. So Haverford Township, for example, has developed its own climate action plan. Delaware County has developed one. And so we have been involved in that and a lot of other, one of the great things about Delaware County is that people volunteer all over the county for all kinds of things. And so some of us are serial volunteers, and we are very active in our community with climate, and we decided to start a climate nonprofit or a solar nonprofit that is going to do outreach and education and really help people make a decision for themselves. Hey, do I want to implement solar? So that's really how Solarize Delco came to be, although it is built on a national model that was developed by a U.S. Department of Energy project.
So, Peter, as you continue to explain all this, I feel like we're pulling a thread, and it keeps getting longer because there's more to this thread. You talked about a climate action plan, and I guess for people in Delaware County may not be familiar with what that is. Can you explain a little bit about that?
Sure. And so I think most people are familiar with the concept of climate change. Government agencies, entities, cities, states, counties are all really facing some serious things in front of them. So climate change has really magnified some of the natural disasters. I mean, we just saw evidence of that. And one of the aspects of a government's due diligence is to prepare, right? And if possible, to prevent. You look at FEMA as an agency, they not only respond, but they also try to mitigate the effects. And so that's really what Delaware County is doing, Haverford Township and other municipalities in Delaware County are doing, is they are planning to try to mitigate not only the effects, but also to slow the progress of climate change.
Let's bring it home. Delco here, what are some of the impacts right now that we're seeing in Delco regarding to climate change?
Well, so it's extremes, floods getting worse. It's heat waves and dry spells getting worse. And, so you're seeing it at both ends of the spectrum. I mean, you're seeing odd things like tornadoes in places and frequencies that we have not seen it before. And it's mostly driven by the fact that, the climate as a whole, the atmosphere is heated up, but also the bigger effect, the bigger driver is the oceans are heating up, creating more moisture and affecting weather patterns and rainfall intensity and strength of hurricane and all of the above. So the effects are pretty broad. And so, one of the things that we focus on is, how do we prevent it? Because the cost is going to be immense. It is growing by the year. You remember the old oil filter ad that said, pay me now or pay me later. Well, so it's going to be far less expensive to prevent, to act, to slow the rate of carbon emissions into the atmosphere than it is going to be to respond to all the disasters that are magnifying in the future. And so that's really what we're trying to do. And we're focusing on energy transition from carbon emitting energy production to things like solar. Solar is kind of unique in that a homeowner can implement it. They can generate their own power and they can also make money from it. So there's a great return on investment for the homeowner. It increases the value of the home. So there's all kinds of win-win. It's not really just for the environment. It's also a great investment.
What can people expect when they work with Solarize Delco?
So what they get is really not selling, objective information. So what we're trying to do is educate people. What is it? How is it right for your home or business or a government building? We look at things like tree cover, age of the roof. Is it time to do it now, or should you do it after a roofing project? What's the time to payback? So, I mean, the payback begins as soon as the solar is turned on in the form of reducing your electric power bills. So you're paying yourself back. It's a very safe investment because as long as you are in the building, the house, the business, you're getting the benefit of reduced energy costs. And so what they get from us is objective information. And we also look at making it easier to implement. So we are not a business, we're not installers, but if someone decides to proceed and they want to do it a simple way rather than getting quotes from multiple businesses and being confused about what they're hearing, we do have fixed pricing arrangements with a couple of installers that are good, reliable, have been local, that have been in the business for many, many years. So if they want to go down that path of getting a quote from one of these using a sort of a predefined fixed price arrangement, we can do that for them as well. But basically what we want is we want people to decide for themselves, is it right for them? Are they ready to do it now, and how? And that's basically what our objective is. And the solar tour that's upcoming is really a good example of a part of it. So they can hear from real life experiences from their neighbors who have already done it. And so it's a very relaxed, sort of personal, informal discussion, question and answer. So it's a good environment for them to learn it, as opposed to, making an inquiry from a business, which is really, there's some great solar installers out there, but, people are trying to make a sale. So we sort of take that pressure off and help people decide on their own.
You pointed out you work with contractors. You've arranged fixed cost or agreements or, abilities to install. How are there ways that you're helping people finance or afford the installation of solar if they really want it, but right now their money is allocated elsewhere?
Yeah, so we walk them through the alternatives, and really, in terms of the benefit, if they have the money to invest, we tell them this is really the best return on investment. The other alternatives are, so there's solar bank type of lenders that have attractive rates for borrowing the money to install. And then finally, you also have a lease option, right? So there are solar leasing firms that will install at no upfront cost, which sounds great. And the one that we have been working with really won't install unless they can bump down the total cost of power for the homeowner. And so they do get a little bit of a benefit, but of course, when you're leasing, the leasing firm is really making the profit, if you will. But that's a good way for people that don't have access to the money to invest or don't want to take out a loan. That's really the third option that they have.
You mentioned that website before regarding the tours. Can you provide that again and how people can connect with you?
So one way is solarizedelco.org, just like it sounds. One word, Solarize Delco. The Delaware County sustainability website also should have information about it. And so there are links on both of those to information about the solar tour, and there is a sign up. So there's no cost associated with it, but because we're visiting private residences, we want people to sign up so that we know, who is going to the different locations. So that's all available on the web. Solarize Delco also has other information, obviously, about us and what we do, and people can sign up for an assessment. It's very simple. Basically, all they need is their Pico bill, all of it that has the annual energy usage, and we can do a web-based meeting where we assess, what is it going to be like for them.
Is there anything we haven't talked about regarding Solarize Delco that you want the listeners to know about?
Well, just that, we're really here for you. We know that solar is right for a lot of people, but it's not right for everyone. So it's a good way, working through us at first is a good way for them to understand if it's right for them and make a decision on their own. I really should mention one very, very important thing. So one of our missions as a nonprofit is to make solar more affordable for those who are income qualified. So, and there's a lot of resources which we really don't limit our advice. We also tell people about low cost or no cost things, weatherization programs, for example, in Delaware County, the Community Action of Delaware County provides free weatherization services for income qualified people. And with those same criteria, they could be eligible for a grant from Solarize Delco that will lower the cost of installing solar.
All great information and additional ways to help the homeowner save on their utility bills, because right now they're going up. And as you talked about, Peter, hey, if you can make money from this, that's another benefit if that's something that provides that interest to you.
So I do want to mention that in addition to reducing your utility bills, we now have the benefit of a 30% federal tax credit. So this is available now. The great thing about it is it's available to homeowners, businesses. Businesses can also depreciate the systems that they install. Also, now for the first time, it's available to government entities, municipalities, school districts, nonprofits. They can all benefit from this 30% back on the installed cost of the solar.
You're out and about and you're going to visit a new client or help somebody with solar and you have a cheesesteak craving. Where are you going for cheesesteaks in Delco?
Rich, was that a question? I'm sorry.
That was a question. Where are you going for cheesesteaks in Delco?
This is a trick question. Most climate-friendly people avoid red meat. So we're not eating cheesesteaks. Many of us tend to be more plant-based.
Okay.
Which
you may be going out.
I'll hit you with the chicken cheesesteak from Anna's.
What's that?
I'll hit you with a chicken cheesesteak from Anna's.
Perfect.
I think it's probably in Folsom. I get a little wonky with which town you're in when you're on the main drive there.
I will say, now that I understand the question, I will say there's a little out of the way place called the Cheesy Vegan, which I can't tell you exactly where it is, but you can look it up, which has amazing vegan, vegetarian food.
Perfect. How about for pizza? You have that pizza craving. Where are you going for pizza in Delco?
We have a good deep dish here in Havertown at Crust.
And I'm going Imperial in Seacane. They're still under $10, which is fantastic. And it's with the sand.
You are needing a convenience store option. Where are you going? Wawa or Royal Farms?
Of course, Wawa.
I don't even know why that's a question.
How do you describe Delco to somebody that's never been here or has not heard of Delco before?
Well, it's a great place to live and work. It's got a lot of hidden gems. So we love it.
I can take that one. So I don't know if you guys knew this, but my roots are very deep in Delco. I mean, I have the traditional grandparents from South Philly that then moved to Ridley. And then on the other side, they've been in media since like off the boat in the 1700s. But the one way I think that makes Delco so special is we have 49 towns, almost 600,000 residents, which really makes there's something for everybody here. All the towns are different, all have a different kind of feel and layout, but there is a collective pride across the communities of knowing that you're from Delco. And I think that's something that's so special, and I have yet to see in any other county, both in this area or really from beyond, where even though people can throw hate or I don't know, have different opinions across our towns. But at the end of the day, there is a collective spirit and passion to say we are one Delco, which is truly special.
Rebeca, I've asked this question quite a number of times, and nobody, when describing Delco, has annexed facts and figures to talk about Delco. So you are outstanding, and the message that you just gave, or the understanding, I think is really special about what you really presented. So I appreciate that. And,
Thank you.
That was great. That might become like a little, we'll play that as a, hey, want to know more about Delco? This is the exact answer we're going to give. You have friends or family coming in from out of town and you want to give them or take them to that Delco experience. Where are you sending them, or where are you taking them?
Right now, we're getting ready to go to Linvilla. That's one of our fall traditions. Go see the pumpkin patch, see the witches' hayride, have some apple cider.
That's a great tradition and something to look forward to. Any other items on the list that people you want to take them or give them to go to?
I'm from southern Delaware County, so I like to send people to Booth's Corner and not give them a whole lot of context and just see what the reaction is to that controlled chaos of the farmers market. That's one I always like to send folks to.
So you're stopping off at Linvilla, you're heading to Booth's Corner. It's a perfect Delco day from what I'm hearing.
Absolutely.
I really appreciate your time today and learning more about what Solarize Delco does in the community. 600,000 residents. There are a lot of people here that can take advantage of what solar provides and what you provide to give guidance and understanding of how it impacts those local residents and business. So thank you so much for your time today. Thanks for being a friend of What's Happening Delco. And don't forget that tour. Check it out on the website and sign up so you can visit some of your neighbors who are doing well with solar.
Thanks, Rich.
Thank you.
Hey, it's Rich. Thank you so much for being a listener to the What's Happening Delco podcast. I appreciate you taking the time out of your day to learn more about the people and businesses in our community. I've been a real estate agent for over 25 years, working with first-time home buyers to last-time home sellers. As a listener of the podcast, my gift to you is a complimentary 1-year American Home Shield home warranty. This is for buyers and sellers that I help. If you're looking to move anywhere in the United States, I have you covered with an amazing network of real estate agents. I look forward to hearing from you. My direct line is 215-313-3777, or you can email me at rshaneremax@comcast.net. Oh, by the way, I am never too busy for any of your referrals.